ABBA author, the actress, the author, the what don't you do? Like I read your resume, I was like, she does this, she does this, she does this, she does this. It was a lot. I was like, oh my goodness, that was a lot. So let's get right into it. So get to do The Color Purple. Because that's what we're
Well, yes, thank you. Shout out to my agents at Stewart Talent. Yes. They send me all the auditions, and my job is to do it and do the best I can. So yes, I booked this after a series of auditions, and then off to the world of The Color Purple to shoot.
Right. So how did you prepare for the role of Abina in The Color Purple? How did you prepare for that?
The preparation process, I feel like, is pretty similar to what I've done in the past and what I probably will do in the future. Right. It's just about going inward, internally, what is happening in her mind and her heart before you all meet her on camera. What are her desires? What are her hurts? How does she relate to her husband and the rest of her family? So it's just a lot of work on who she is internally, so that by the time you guys meet her, she's a fully fledged character.
Right. So I watched the movie. I watched it like a month ago. So I heard that the scene at the end was actually shot at the beginning. So can you talk to us, for the people who don't know how that works? Yeah. How does that work? Because I was like, okay, the last scene was shot at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it moved like that. So can you talk a little bit about that?
That's so interesting that you asked that, because obviously when you're watching something or even when you're reading a script, the story is very linear, right. Beginning, middle, and end. Now, when you are producing something or when you're behind the camera, is a whole different story.
Right.
Because there are a lot of factors that are in play. You have to think about locations, when you have access to certain locations. You have to think about timing, maybe your actors' schedules or when people are available. There's so many different aspects of the shooting process that come into play there. So for this, I don't really know the reasoning behind it, but obviously they decided that this culmination of the entire story needed to happen towards the beginning of the shoot. So I was grateful to be there.
Right. So director Blitz, I got a chance to talk to him also. He's so high, he's so down to earth. So how was it to work with Blitz? He worked with Beyonce. Now he's working with you, working with Oprah, all these amazing talents. How was it to work?
Okay, let me start off by saying I am a huge Blitz Bazawule fan. Okay, The Color Purple aside, I am a big fan. I'm from Ghana, as is he, and so we know him over there as Blitz the Ambassador. He's definitely somebody that I've been watching and had my eye on and taken a lot of inspiration from through the years. So, wow. When I got the chance to be able to be on this set and know that I was going to be in this film, I was just beside myself. How exciting. It really was a dream come true. As you mentioned, I just find him to be so gracious. He's so lovely. He's very kind. He's very thoughtful. And most importantly, he is so talented. The guy is so skilled. It's like he sees things that the rest of us can't. So I'm really excited for the world. Now the world is seeing his work. I'm excited for what he's going to do next. I'm a big fan of his.
Right. So The Color Purple, I have some history that I just looked up. It's the second biggest Christmas Day showing of all time. Now that's big. That's big for the culture. That's big for Hollywood. That's big for you. So to be a part of The Color Purple and it's doing this history. How does it feel?
Incredible. I'm so excited. I'm excited to talk to you about it. I'm excited people are seeing it. We have to support our cinema. So I'm really happy that everybody came out, and I hope people are still going, get out to the theater, take your friends and family. Let's get those numbers up for sure.
Right. So now we have to talk about Big O, Queen O, Oprah, Miss You Get a Car.
Yes.
You were mentored by Oprah Winfrey during this time. How was that? Because as a journalist, Oprah is That's you're living my dream.
I'm living mine as well. You know, this whole project has really been full circle for me. It truly has. Meeting her is something that I always expected would happen. I was waiting for it to happen. I just didn't know when. But I was like, I know at some point we're going to come in contact with each other. And we did. And she was better than I thought she would have been. It was better than I thought it was going to go.
Right.
She's so kind and very vulnerable. And I mean, wow, what a journalist. Just even in regular conversation, very inquisitive, but caring, very generous. I just found her to be so lovely and so delightful. And I'm really grateful for that because obviously, like so many of us, she's somebody that I've looked up to my whole life.
Right.
So to be able to be in her presence and have her be everything I wanted her to be and so much more was just such a dream come true.
Right. So we saw her a lot on the press tour. Like, was she actually like hands on during the filming of the movie?
Very, very, very. She knew everything that was happening at all times. The lady is incredible. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, she was in everything. Yes.
Oprah doesn't play. So you've been in the industry for over 2 decades in the entertainment industry. And like your co-star Taraji came out and said that the pay is not paying in the entertainment industry at the moment for all like the hard work that you have done and all the hard work that these other actors have done. Can you speak about her comments about the pay in the industry?
I mean, first and foremost, what I think is very important to acknowledge here is I really commend her for the courage to be able to speak out about it. You know, it's tough. And so I'm really glad that she did. I support her 100%. She's right. So it's just a matter of what we can do is we can continue to support cinema. We can show up in large numbers. We can show the studios that our stories are valuable and that us as actors are valuable and that we need to be present in order to have a story told authentically. Right. So I really commend her for that, and we can all play a part in the resolution.
Right, right. So speaking of Taraji, she went to Howard University. You're from DC. So, and you graduated from Colorado Boulder University. Yes. So I go to HBCU. You know, Washington, D.C. has Howard University. So what made you want to go to Colorado instead of Howard?
I know. Hilarious question. Well, I was born in D.C. and then we went immediately to Ghana. So I don't have a lot of experience in DC. And I have so many good friends that are from the DMV. I'm always like, I'm not trying to claim y'all, please. I know. So when we went back to Ghana with my family, we then immediately moved back to Colorado. So I got to Colorado when I was, I think about 7, and then went to school there. And by the time I was in high school, listen, I was ready to go to Los Angeles. I was trying to get out of there. I was ready. I was like, I'm going to Hollywood. College was not on my radar. I wasn't concerned about it, nothing. But thank God for my parents who knew that I needed to sit down somewhere and get some education in my brain before I went out and did this massive thing that I think they knew where this was going. And so I'm really grateful to them. I have a sister that was a senior at the time when I was a freshman. And so I think they thought it would be nice if we were there together and, you know, she could guide me, which she really did. So that's how I ended up at Colorado. I mean, I had no idea, obviously, at the time. We never know how it was going to shape my life. But I'm so glad that that's where I ended up. Shout out to Deion Sanders and the CU Buffs.
Shout out to Deion Sanders. Yeah.
Shout out to Coach Prime. Yes, I'm so glad that's where I ended up because it also taught me being in Ghana, being in Colorado, going to Los Angeles. It's like all these different environments taught me how to be comfortable in my own skin, regardless of where I am. So even though college was not on my radar, I wasn't thinking about choices of schools. My goal was to get to Los Angeles. That's all I cared about. But I'm really, really glad that I spent that time at CU because it did shape me.
Right. So now you're moving from Atlanta to LA, Atlanta, LA, Atlanta, LA. What's the difference? Like, what can you?
Oh,
I heard the traffic is a little crazy, but like, what's the different landscape for you as an
yeah.
actor?
Oh man, gosh, I could talk about this for the rest of the afternoon. So, well, it's so funny you mentioned the traffic because when I'm driving in Atlanta and people complain about the traffic, I laugh out loud because I'm like, we think this is bad in Atlanta, but Los Angeles traffic, that's not a game. Okay. You could put the car in park on the highway and take a nap and then wake up and you're still in the same spot. So traffic in Atlanta is not comparable. But as an actor, I'd say the two different landscapes, it's large. I felt very much living in Los Angeles, auditioning in Los Angeles, doing the whole grind. Like it felt like nobody knew what to do with me. I was going out for like such a wide variety of roles and I wasn't getting anything. And I know I'm good. Sometimes when you know what you deserve and you know where you should be, it's like if you're not feeling valued, you have to switch something. And for me, it was about switching locations. And so coming to Atlanta, I said, oh, okay, here there's like every shape, color, size of Black woman. So it was almost as though when I got here, and of course, it was still the auditioning process, turning in good quality work every time so that the casting directors get to know who I am as a performer. But once I got to Atlanta, I realized that here they knew what to do with me. It's like they knew where to place me, they knew the roles that fit well with me. And I started booking. And I feel so blessed. I feel so grateful that now I am able to travel back to LA, back and forth, sometimes in Denver, sometimes in Ghana. But I feel grateful that I'm able now to go wherever the work is, because that's where I am, where the work is.
Right. So you've been working a long time. Did you ever feel like you were like being typecasted because of your heritage from Ghana? Or like how did that?
That's such an interesting question. No, actually, I feel the opposite. I feel like they didn't know what to do with me because of my heritage. It's almost as though I heard a term recently, the third culture kids, which I really loved. Those are children who were raised in a household or have parents of one culture, and they're growing up in a separate culture. So they almost create their own culture that is a combination of all of them. And for me, it really, for a long time, it felt very much like they didn't know where to place me. It's like you're not enough of anything or you're too much of something. So you're Ghanaian, but you don't speak with an accent regularly. Or you are American, however, you are also Ghanaian. So sometimes you show up wearing cloth and fabric.
Right.
Or you have locks and they're really long. And should you cut them or should you? There's always like this feeling of not enough or too much. So I feel like that probably contributed to part of the reason why I wasn't getting called in and why I wasn't getting enough roles. And back to my credit to Atlanta, it's like I got here and it felt like I was accepted for who I was, not any box that anybody was trying to put me in, because I don't fit.
Right. I don't fit either.
I don't. I created a new box for myself.
Right.
Okay, I'm not going to fit
Create
it.
the box.
Yeah.
So speaking of heritage, you also did Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I know we all miss Chadwick. We all love that film. So can you talk about the process of booking that, or like, what do you remember from Black Panther, Wakanda Forever?
Everything. I remember every moment, every day. I think about it sometimes still, like, oh my God, can you believe that happened?
Right.
Wow. Yes, I turned in my audition like anything else. Sometimes as a professional actor, there's a lot of rejection in this business. There's a lot of no's. So you have to just do your best and then you have to release it and see what happens. And that was one of those situations where I was like, this would be great. I didn't know what I was reading for, but I kind of felt like this is something.
Right.
And, Marvel and Disney, they're very secretive, thankfully, because if not, we would get a lot of spoilers. So I actually found out what I was filming when I was on my way to my fitting, which was really cool. And so it was like, wow, my first day of work, I just walked up onto the set and I was in the world of Wakanda. All the characters, and I'm a fan. I'm a massive fan. So, you can imagine. I just walked in like, oh, it's overwhelming, but also I'm a professional first and foremost.
Right.
So I'm always going to pull it in. I could cry and freak out in my trailer, but once I hit that set, let's go. What are my lines? I'm ready. Where's my mark? I'm ready to go. So
Right.
uh, I have so much to say about that project, being on that set, that film. Ryan Coogler
Yeah.
is, oh, he's just incredible. Wow. He's really something. And I feel so fortunate to have been able to really watch him and see what he was doing and why he was making the decisions he was making, because I really, really admire all of his work. And I've been a fan of his since the beginning. So it was really a dream come true to be able to work with him. Such a blessing to meet all of them. Lupita Nyong'o,
Yeah.
just so much love to her, so many blessings coming her way. And I was really glad to be a part. Yeah.
When you got the news that Chadwick passed away, what came to your mind? What thoughts? Like how?
Oh, we're about the same age.
Or,
Close to the same age. So, I think on just a natural human level, I think of his family first.
or,
Yeah, I think of the people that knew him deeply and loved him. They've lost someone that they love. And so I think the first thing is, oh man, we're so young. It's such a blow. I think of his family, and obviously also his film family
right.
coming into the second leg of Black Panther. There is no Black Panther without Chadwick.
Right.
So,
Do you think that Disney will ever recast, or Marvel will ever recast him? How do you feel about that? Because there's been some talks about recasting.
I know. I don't know. I mean, that one is complicated. That one is really complicated. I have no idea, but what I do know is that nobody is him and nobody ever will be him. So the legacy that he has left is massive, and job well done to Chadwick. I feel, again, just so grateful that I was able to be a part of something that he really created and nurtured. And even if there is another one, no one's ever going to be him, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Nobody
Yeah.
will be.
Yeah.
Okay, so award season is coming up. Fantasia was nominated for a Golden Globe. It's been some buzz that The Color Purple will be nominated for an Oscar. Are you ready? That's all I have to say. Are you ready? Because
Yes,
you're ready. You're ready.
I'm ready. I stay ready. Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Everybody deserves it. Seriously. Fantasia Barrino.
Taylor,
Oh my God.
shout out.
Let me tell you something. Watching her on screen, I cry every time. But being present when that woman starts singing, it feels like she's shaking the earth itself. She is so special. She's really, really an incredible human being. And that gifting that she has is out of this world. She deserves every award possible. If I could give them to her myself, I would.
Right.
I
So,
really.
how does that work? When, like, let's just say if The Color Purple won an Oscar, will that count as you winning one, or how does that work? Or that would just be, how does that work? Because
Listen, I'm going to claim it. That's what I know. I'm going to claim it. Put my name on it or not. I put my name on it already. That's fine.
right.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what the category is. I mean, obviously, if they're honoring a singular person, best actress, best supporting actress, director, whatever, whoever they're honoring, I will claim it because
Go ahead, claim.
this is a group project. It really is. And obviously, some incredibly spectacular performances. And at the same time, I love how it became such a family, and it was so collaborative, and it was such an ensemble work. So I'm putting my name in there too.
Okay, go ahead, go
What are we
ahead.
gonna win together?
Right. So we're gonna talk about the present. Well, you have your own production house.
I do.
How do you do all this? You have your production house. You're an author. How? I'm in college and I'm doing this, and this is already a lot. So I know. How are you doing that? Can you talk a little bit about your production house and like what it does?
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Yes, my production company is called the Ohema Project. The word Ohema means queen in my language. So it was really important for me to title it something that reminded us of our internal regality. You know, we are all royalty. And I just wanted, every time somebody says the name of my company, I wanted it to be reinforced that we are all royalty. So really it translates to the Queen's projects, me being the queen. Hello.
Hello.
I, I am a storyteller by nature in my heart. And I take in a lot of content. It's my favorite thing to do. I watch a lot of film, I watch a lot of television. And so as I'm watching things, sometimes I'm not always seeing reflected what I talk about in my regular life. I chat with my girlfriends, I'm talking to my sisters, my family members, and sometimes there are things that we talk about that I feel like are really important, but I'm not necessarily seeing that conversation take place. And so I started writing it. I'm like, okay, I want to discuss this. So I write it, or here's an idea for this. And so then I create it. And also, having lived in so many places and having such a unique life experience, I mean, all of us have such a unique life experience, and everybody has something valuable to say. So thankfully, I am able to figure out how to formulate it and write it down. And after I had a couple of those projects, I said, you know what? Let me create an umbrella so that all of my work is kind of in the same space. And that's where the Ohema project came from.
Right. So, wow, that's great. That's great. So you can be a part of any movie, any reboot, any TV show. What would it be? That's my question.
It's so interesting you asked me that, because if you would have asked me this 3 years ago, the color purple never would have been on my radar. Because how? What do you mean? Like, it's so far fetched for me that even having this conversation with you about what could be in the future, it's so far from my imagination. I am such a fan of cinema. So there's so many classic stories that I would be honored to be a part of. I welcome all of them, honestly. Now, I do hear that they're making another Sister Act. I did hear that. I said, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me turn in my tape. Who do I need to call? Let me turn in my tape real quick. I did hear that. And I am a big, big, big.
I can see that for you. I can see it for you.
Yes, I'm a big.
Well, you just spoke it, so
we'll see.
We'll see.
I'll come back to you. You call me when it happens.
Okay. We got that. We got that.
I love it.
So we have a little birdie told me that you have a new show coming out next year on Apple TV Plus, and it's called Bad Monkey, featuring Vince Vaughn. What can you tell me? Can you give me like a little exclusive, a little something? What can you tell me?
I'm so excited for you all to see this show. I really am. We had so much fun creating it. I've heard the term comedic genius before, but I don't think I actually knew what it meant. Like, I had not experienced it until I was in the presence of Vince Vaughn, the Great. This guy is something else. Wow. He's really wonderful. So again, I'm a fan of his. I've been a fan of his. I'm just so grateful to be able to work with him. And now we get to see it on television. It's coming very soon.
Well, I learned that because of COVID, because of that strike, it got delayed, it got pushed back. Did you ever feel like because of the strike or because of COVID that I was like, I don't want to do acting anymore? Like, did you ever have that feeling? Because I know it may get discouraging.
Yeah.
Those times.
Incredibly. I've had that feeling a lot. I've quit a number of times.
That's okay.
If I can be honest with you, yes. I've quit probably 7 or 8 times because this business is hard. This is very tough. You have to develop and have a thick skin, and you have to know what your compass, like you have to have it all in lock, or else you'll get thrown about. It's it gets discouraging because I have the training that's necessary. I'm classically trained. I got my Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. So I studied Meisner and Stanislavski. And, I have heavy, heavy roots in the theater. I've done black box theater, I've done big stage theater. And then come to Los Angeles, I've booked films and shows. And it just feels like at some point like, what else do I need to do? That's the feeling sometimes that creeps up in me. And so every once in a while it does. It gets discouraging, and you just think to yourself, is this worth it? But I think what is most important at the end of that thought is, why am I doing this? What
Right,
is the point? And if I can always, which I do, come back to center, what is the point? Why am I doing this? Where am I going? And then rearrange how I'm going to get there. That's where my production company comes from. That's where working in casting comes from.
right,
That's why I learned to write, because I'm like, okay, I know what the end goal is. Now let me just kind of rearrange. How am I going to get there? Because I have to get there eventually. So even when I give up, this thing won't let me go.
right, right. I think you said it all. I think we went over everything. The Color Purple, Black Panther, the Project House, your Colorado border. We went over a lot, and you have so much going for you. So we have that new project coming out, Bad Monkey,
Yeah.
and we have the Color Purple doing numbers, still doing numbers. So I just want to say thank you, our author, for coming up here and talking to me. And I know, and I can't wait till we get that sister act, because I want to be first in line for that interview. Okay.
Looking for you. I'm gonna think of you. I'm gonna be like, I told him. I told him. Yes, good.
Right. So thank you so much. Do you have anything you want to say, or?
I want to say thank you to you, because I understand, being a student, how much you have to do and what's going on. It's like you have your studies, but you also have your personal life, and you have
Right.
your goals for the future, and there's so much ahead. So this is a big deal. Kudos to you. I'm
Right.
glad to talk to you. Call me
Yeah.
whenever. I'll chat with you
This
again.
has been hard. I don't think, because thank you for saying that, because
Yeah.
while doing this as a student, they don't look at you as a oh professional. We're doing this, we're
Mhm.
doing that, and I thank people like Demetria who set this up for helping me build up my portfolio. Because I'm interviewing you. I just interviewed the Color Purple, so more people will start taking me serious, and I do appreciate people like you that give these opportunities to student journalists. And I want to say thank you so much.
Of course, of course. Thank you. I'm glad to talk to you. I'm glad to be here.